Hello, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And I'm obliged to be back thanks to the incident at Kyrgyzstan, where, yeah, one would never have expected it, I guess. But then that shows how little we know about what actually happens in other places all over the world, no matter how much we think we know, but we actually know jack shit. And a prime example is the fact that in Kyrgyzstan, since last night, there has been this ongoing incident of locals terrorizing international students, assaulting them. There have been rumors of attempted rapes or even rapes. Not sure yet, because as we know, the governments of many of the countries involved will always like to downplay what exactly is going on. For example, just check out our ambassador in Kyrgyzstan. I mean, seriously, it's a miracle he didn't get smacked already by somebody, because the fact that he is trying to downplay what's happening to the Pakistani students in Kyrgyzstan is it's just ridiculous. The fact that you could very plainly see that he was just made to make a speech, or a 2 minute speech on in which he recorded and posted as a video, in which he was basically touting the illegal Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, and singing praises of him, that he has taken note and he's done that. Yeah, what have you actually done? That's the question. I mean, that was my question when I listened to the man. I was like, okay, so fine, you've listened to almost 500 calls, you've responded to almost 500 people, you helped a few of them make contact with their parents here in Pakistan, but what have you done for their protection and safety? That's what I want to know. The fact that you're actually appealing, and I'm putting this in quotation marks because that's the word he used, you're actually appealing to the Pakistani community in Kyrgyzstan not to post on social media about the whole incident, not to talk about the whole incident. Are you crazy? I mean, again, see, here's the problem. And this is why the Pakistani students were lamenting the absence of Imran Khan's government, because according to them, when it was his tenure, when it was his government, there was so much semblance of protection. There was a lot of swift action taken by Imran Khan, as you remember the way they worked with China when COVID first spread, the way he worked, the way his government worked with Saudi and with Dubai concerning Pakistani residents and workers and those who were there as work permit status, those who were imprisoned for trumped up reasons or whatever, getting them out, getting them freedom, working for their rights, working for their safety, working for their protection. I mean, this is something that even the those people who work in the embassies, one of their biggest problems, one of the biggest issues and the biggest complaints that they faced and made themselves was the fact that when Imran Khan was prime minister, he did a lot of work. He made the embassies do a lot of work. He did a lot of work, and they actually felt fruitful. But the minute he was removed, everything collapsed. And they actually lament his absence more than anybody else. And the fact that, as you can see, these incompetent, inefficient ambassadors are now put in place who have nothing better to do than to stroke Shehbaz Sharif's ego at this point in time. And by the way, where's Maryam Nawaz? That's another thing I'd like to. In fact, I think that's something everybody's asking. That time she was so hyperactive about foreign Pakistani community and foreign students when a certain incident occurred during Imran Khan's time, which obviously he swiftly took care of. But she was, very quick to tweet about it, about, the concerns. So why isn't she tweeting now? She's the bloody chief minister of Punjab. Many of the students affected there are from Punjab. According to her, she owns Punjab. According to her, her mother shat Punjab out of her anus. So, why isn't she doing anything? That's what I want to know. Why is she not doing anything? Why is she not even tweeting? Why is she just silent? And what about the Pakistani army? Oh, what happened to your display of power now? What happened to your taking control? Yeah, you have no control now when it comes to your foreign students and foreign Pakistani workers in Kyrgyzstan. Suddenly your army is dead. What? You stepped on poop? What happened? Where is the Pakistani establishment? Cat got your tongue? I thought you were those people who said that you would never leave anybody alone who went against you. Well, so going against your Pakistani residents, going against your Pakistani nationals in a foreign country, that is not something worth reacting to? Yeah. Where is everybody now? That's what I want to know. The fact that in Kyrgyzstan there is this huge violence and terrorism by the Kyrgyz locals against international workers, against foreign workers, against foreign students. The fact that they actually had a history of bullying students. And this is how it actually all started. And this is straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, these are, if you listen to a few of the reporters who were actually in touch with those students, if you listen to the voicemails of those students, the female students, the male students, what they're talking about, it's as clear as day. Okay. And then you had listened to the ambassador, and he actually has the gall to tell people that they shouldn't talk without verification. It's straight from the horse's mouth, bro. I mean, you've got the female and the male students telling you how it all started because they know it firsthand. Obviously, they know exactly what happened because it's happened to them. So, according to them, the Kyrgyz locals have a history of terrorizing foreign students, stealing from them, harassing them, and obviously, true to our kind, trust our desis, never to resist. Yeah, that's what I always say, that that this is my main complaint with the South Asians, with the Pakistanis. I thought the Indians were better, but it seems that no, they suffer from the same complex. And so the Bangladeshis and the Pakistanis and the Indians, they did not resist. They allowed themselves to be bullied. They allowed themselves to be victims of theft and harassment. And they just kept their heads down, as if they did something wrong. You are legally there. You're not illegally there. Thank you very much. You're students. You're paying a lot of money to their universities. Keep your heads high, okay? Why are you allowing people to bully you? Why? And I'm amazed that the Indian government, which is always ready to jump on the throat of even Australia or Canada for a smallest incident, I'm amazed that their students actually kept their heads down and allowed themselves to get bullied. And obviously, now here you have, on the other hand, you have Middle Eastern people, you have Egyptians. Now, suddenly there has been an influx of Egyptian students, and the locals tried the same tricks and failed miserably because the Egyptians, now I'm seriously, you're talking about Egyptians and Arabs here. You mess with them, you're effed for life. And that's exactly what happened. They messed with them. The Egyptian students beat the bejesus out of them. And now the locals, because it, went viral, those thugs getting beaten up, those bullies getting beaten up, so what happens? Now all the locals are out for blood. Now all the locals are, their local gangs out in mob style, and they're literally hunting every foreigner they can get. And strangely, again, it kind of reminds me of 9/11, where America blamed Saudi for 9/11, but America killed a lot of Pakistanis, a lot of, Arabs, a lot of Northern Africans. They killed a lot of Muslims from all over the world, and they especially attacked Pakistanis, both in America and in Pakistan. Remember the drone attacks on civilians in Pakistan. So Pakistan is amazing how it doesn't matter who does what, but Pakistan has to bear the brunt of it every single time. So I find this really, really strange and very, very reminiscent of the 9/11 charade, the fiasco that was created by the American government, the false flag operation. And then they worked with Saudi royals so that the Saudis could quietly take the blame. They probably had something in it, you never know. And then at the end of the day, although the Saudis were blamed for the 9/11 attacks, strangely, Pakistan was the one that bore the brunt of it. And even now, even though the Arabs had a fight, the Arabs and the Egyptians had a fight with the local Kyrgyz citizens, strangely and oddly enough, it is the Indians and the Bangladeshis and the Pakistanis right now that are being especially targeted. Although other foreign students and workers are being targeted, but it's amazing how they are especially targeting the South Asian students even more, and that those who are living in apartments, just check out the Kyrgyz locals. Just, I mean, you can just see again the mentality of the people over there, that the landlords, instead of protecting their tenants, they're kicking them out in the rain, and outside you've got these mobsters ready to beat them up. So if this was American students, America would have declared Kyrgyz unsafe, a danger zone, and they would have banned travels to Kyrgyzstan, sorry. They would have banned travels to Kyrgyzstan. They would have literally blacklisted the country, and they would have, you know, put the fear of God into the American citizens by citing Kyrgyzstan as a war torn, conflict torn, unsafe country, and they wouldn't allow their people to travel. But look at the difference here. You've got the Pakistani ambassador actually downplaying the whole situation and telling the Pakistanis not to be concerned, not to be worried, and then telling the Pakistanis not to talk about it. Seriously? Whose ambassador are you? Are you Kyrgyzstan's ambassador or are you Pakistan's ambassador? Whose freaking ambassador are you? And our government and our army trying to bury it all? Whose army are you? Whose government are you? Who the frack are you working for? Explain that to me. I mean, just check it out. I mean, you've got locals bullying foreign students and the Kyrgyz government turning a blind eye to it. The universities, their associations, their student bodies turning a blind eye to it. The hostels turning, turning a blind eye to it. The police, the law enforcement turning a blind eye to it. And it has reached to this stage that when foreign students refuse to be bullied and terrorized and they fight back, then the locals strategically start hunting down all the foreigners. They start beating them, they start assaulting them, they've injured them severely. One Pakistani is actually in critical condition. Well, you can call it critical condition. He is in the ICU in the hospital. And, you know, you've got women, girls and women who are in fear of, you know, their lives. I mean, that's how we would say it. You know, that they can be molested or assaulted or raped anytime because they're being attacked. And you've got our ambassador telling them to calm down, that nothing is wrong and nothing has happened, and that they are in contact with them. Are you serious? I don't care that you've contacted 500 people. I don't care you've contacted 1,000 people. I don't care even if you've just contacted one person. My question is, what have you done about the whole situation? Yeah, you're talking about the police in action and all, but as the students have said, it's not helping, it's not working. God knows where the police are, because where actually the whole situation is going on, there is nobody helping the students. And the students are saying that, okay, at least their universities and their professors are trying to help them, but the workers, the foreign workers, nobody's helping them. So why isn't Pakistani government evacuating their people from Kyrgyzstan? Why aren't they calling the Kyrgyzstan ambassador and asking him for an explanation? This incident started last night. How long do you want to wait and see? I mean, you're literally saying that you want to wait and see for 2 days until it all dies down, and then you will come and pretend to be heroes that, oh, you know, we did this and we did that, when actually it's very apparent to the whole damn world that you're doing jack shit. You're just sitting cowering in your incompetence, in your inefficiency and your corruption, that you do not even have the guts to face another country and ask for an explanation and ask them why is it that you have 14,000 at least students in their country, and that why is it that those 14,000 students are not feeling safe? Why haven't you asked the Kyrgyz ambassador to pack up and leave? I'm sure the Indian government is doing something. I'm sure they're going to do something. I'm sure they're not going to leave them alone. The question is, what are you doing, you pieces of shit? Again, I would say if this was the American government, if this was Canadian, they would, even if this was a very tiny, if this, even if this was a very, very trivial issue, they would have highlighted it, they would have exaggerated it, and the Indian government too, they would have exaggerated it, they would have turned it into this huge war, conflict, and then they would have declared that country unfit and unsafe, and they would not recommend it to be traveled to. They have done that time and again for very, very trivial causes and conflicts. And here, this is a huge bloody conflict where there are even rumors of murder. And what are you doing here? What is our government and our ambassador doing here? They're saying that, oh, please do not talk about it. Please do not spread the news. Please do not talk about something that is unconfirmed. Are you serious? The students themselves have confirmed it. Again, I would say, F everything, screw everything. Just tell me, what have you physically done, or what are you physically doing to help the students and the foreign workers? This question is both to the Home Ministry of Kyrgyzstan and the ambassador of Pakistan in Kyrgyzstan. What the frack are you people doing? What are you doing physically for these workers and for these students? That's what I want to know. I mean, this is exactly how our governments always have been before. And, I think if Imran Khan hadn't come, our students would never expected anything. The reason why our students are expecting something is because Imran Khan made them expect that by giving it to them when they had no expectations. Imran Khan and his government, they raised that hope. They have increased the level of expectation from minus to a whopping positive. Now that expectation is resting between a 0 and a 1, and rest assured it will go back to minus. I'm sure this incident has shown the students that, this is the old Pakistan, this is the American infested Pakistan, this is the British infested, the, mentally enslaved, physically enslaved Pakistan. This is not the new Pakistan that Imran Khan dreamt of, or that Imran Khan was working towards. This is not the Pakistan that you thought that it would be. This is not the Pakistan that Quaid-e-Azam and Liaquat Ali Khan and Fatma Jinnah and all the others, all the Nawabs of their times and all the workers of their times worked towards and worked for and created and made. This is not the Pakistan that was developing overnight. This is not the Pakistan that gave loans to Germany. This is not the Pakistan whose 5-year, 10-year plans were being stolen and then officially borrowed by South Korea and then China, Indonesia, Malaysia, coming, visiting our government, learning about how the infrastructural plans are laid out, taking those blueprints, borrowing those blueprints, and using them in their own countries, and see where they are today. This is Pakistan's 5-year, 10-year plans. This is Pakistan's blueprints that made China what it is today, that made Indonesia and Malaysia what they are today, that made South Korea what it is today. Keep that in mind. This is not that Pakistan. This is that Pakistan that we have been living in agony in that hellhole for the past 50, 60 years minimum. Actually, 70 years almost, but 50, 60 years minimum. This is that hellhole. So welcome back to hell, my fellows. There is no other way now out of this, because again, this is the mentality, as in, you see the mentality here that they did not resist the bullies. The Indians, the Bangladeshis, the Pakistanis, they did not resist the Kyrgyz bullies. And this is the tragedy of our people. This is the tragedy of the South Asian community, that this is why Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan are where they are today. This is why we are effed. Because we have never learned to literally fight, overthrow, kill, to hunt down and to rip apart our enemies. If we had done that to our own governments, if we instead of being lazy-assed, complacent, mentally enslaved, brainwashed cowards, if we hadn't been all that, if we had actually broken the chains, come out of all of that which the British have imposed on us, and then left their minions to continue to impose on us, if we had actually broken them, if we had broken through, and then if we had broken them, today we wouldn't be in the situation we are. This is the mentality of the South Asian community that you can see. You can see what's happening to them in Kyrgyzstan and how they are resisting very badly, as in they do not have an ounce of resistance in them. They're just cowering and they're having their heads down and they're looking for help, instead of fighting back, pushing back, making a stand, which the Egyptians did. Now, you see, if all the students had done that right from the start, I doubt the Kyrgyz locals would have continued to terrorize the foreign students and foreign workers. I doubt it would have reached to the stage it has reached now. And this is also another example. The way the Kyrgyz locals have banded together against foreigners is a good example of their mentality, that they do not care that their locals, their own people, were in the wrong. They don't care about that. All they care about is that their own locals were beaten up by foreigners in their own country, and so they have stood against them. Now, understand that, and understand why I say that that is essential for any country, for the people of any country, to actually make their country whatever it is that they want it to be. That is the kind of mentality that I wish that our people had, that Indians had, that the Bangladeshis had. And with that, we could have toppled our governments that are imposed upon us by the British and the US. And with that mentality, we could have posed a threat to anybody who dared to insult us in and out of our soil. It's a sense of dignity. It's not just a sense of ego, it's a sense of dignity, and it's a sense of, a sense of one's own. That is their sense, that how dare a foreigner do this to one of our own? It's that. You understand? This is the sense that we lack. Essentially, we Desis, we lack that. We don't care about our own. And that is why we are in the bind that we are today. Because we have never really considered our own, and that is why there is nobody now to consider us. And we are still not considering our own. But we expect that there should be a Messiah to come down and do the whole magic, wave the wand and fix everything for us. Yeah, that's not how it happens. What the Kyrgyz people are doing for their locals, even though they know their locals are wrong, that is how you break things. That is how you make things. That is how you make change happen. This is what we should have done to the army the day they tried to kill Imran Khan. As I said, this would have been an overnight upheaval. Just look at Kyrgyzstan. It's an overnight upheaval. And we are a much larger population. Remember, we are the 5th largest population in the world. Do you actually believe that we can be controlled? If we really wanted to, do you actually believe that we could be going through this shit that we are right now? Do you actually believe that our students would be going through all that abroad with no backing, no support from their own government? This is something that I've been talking about. This is exactly what I've been talking about. And I hope that people can finally understand that and the importance of it. And this is me signing out for the Hafiz.